Hi guys.
Hey
Max.
Max.
Hello, how are you both?
Good.
Good.
I think we were tweeting.
Yeah, we were. Tom, do you know the funniest thing is I was trying to find you both and I kept finding Major Tomm Moore. And then
Oh yeah. Yeah. He has really stolen the limelight for all Tomm Moores, and I think that's fair
thank
enough.
God you have that extra M.
Yes, that's it. That's the trick.
She's one of them Wolfwalkers.
Wolfwalkers?
Guys, I want you to help me because I really want to be a wolf at night and a girl in the daytime. After watching this film, I'm literally like, oh, I fell in love with it. It was just what I needed. Tom's here. Also got Ross here, the two men behind the film. Was like the reaction, has it been overwhelming? Because I saw you, Tom, tweeting over the weekend when we were all watching it.
I was very excited to follow it. I was doing that thing you should never do. I was live watching people's reactions, but because we can't be there in London, we can't be there in the cinema. The only way to know how people are reacting is Twitter and online. So that's been a bit of a lifeline for that, and I've been really happy with the response, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, it was all positive.
Fantastic, especially like the broad range of audience that seem to like it. You know, from little kids the whole way up to like mature film critics.
The story, the music, the sentiment, and then the animation. I don't know how much work. I can imagine it was a lot. Starting with you, actually, Ross, what was the most difficult thing about this whole process? What was the one thing that you were like, we have got to get this right, guys?
I think well, I mean, the thing that we ached over was the wolf vision. You know, when Robyn turns into the wolf and we see through her eyes, that went through like months and months and months of like concepts before it even started into production. And then when it did go into production, it was such a laborious task. Like lots of artists had to like hand draw each frame of like backgrounds and character moving and everything. So it was a massive, massive ask. But we had this guy called Evan McNamara, who's a director and animator working with us, and he's a bit of a genius, so he helped us out with that.
Do you know, I don't know, it felt to me like a book coming to life. And you know, animation is one of those tricky things because when you look at old school animation, everything looks like it was all hand drawn and perfectly. And then technology now is an amazing thing and you have to embrace it and what you can do with it. But it did actually feel like you managed to combine those two elements really, really well, Tom.
Yeah, I think what for us was important was that it felt timeless. That whenever you look at hand-drawn animation, it doesn't like the technology doesn't update, so you kind of feel that it's very timeless. And took a lot of inspiration from the artwork of the time period, like woodblock prints, but also from amazing illustrators that we were lucky to work with. So yeah, I think the final results should feel like everything is hand drawn, even if we use computers as a secret weapon here and there to help us with the process. You know.
The ones that can talk to wolves with some wild magic.
You can come out now. We can smell ya, you stink.
Yeah, and the cast were awesome. And it was, for me, it's so cool and lovely to think that there's going to be a whole generation of young girls, guys that are going to watch this and see these two leading characters, almost like badass girls, sisterhood, out there doing their thing and helping each other through this almost self-discovery. Did you both realise you were doing this for girls everywhere?
It was a change in direction. We originally had a little boy as Robyn, and we thought, oh, okay, it wasn't working as a story, and it just made so much more sense for it to be a little girl. And I think we were both excited by what came up whenever we just imagined Robyn as a little girl. Everything kind of turned around, and the conflict and the drama and everything that she was up against, and her relationship with Mebh, everything was much deeper than if it had been a little boy. So yeah, we were pretty excited by that. It was a change that came relatively early in the process, and all the way through. Plenty of the young women who worked with us and women of all ages who worked with us were saying, this is really cool, this is really important that you're showing this. So we were emboldened by that.
Yeah, and if there's more little girls going out into the forest, getting back to nature and getting dirty, that even better. Maybe crossbow sales will go through the roof after this.
You're a wolf when you sleep. What? A girl when you're awake. Robyn, something's happened to me. Yeah, I can see that. It's flipping great.
And then you had the mighty Sean Bean. Every time he speaks, I just pay attention.
Yeah.
He just has
He's
this.
got a great voice,
doesn't he?
Voice.
Did you guys, the two of you, when you were working with him, were you like literally? Did you have a moment? Because I'm sure you were fans of his work.
Oh yeah,
I was a bit starstruck, right? I was a bit overwhelmed because I'd loved him in Game of Thrones and also Lord of the Rings. But before on the day when he was arriving, I think we were all a little bit like, oh, what's he going to be like? What's he going to be like? Because he has such a huge personality on screen, but he's a really like quiet, humble guy. You know, like nothing at all like the big, huge Ned Starks or anything like that.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. Yeah.
Tom, did he hear your impressions? Did you ever do them in person?
No, and we had to be very careful not to ask him to say certain things that we really wanted him to say.
Yeah, I think that on the day that he was arriving, all the staff in the place, they're really good fun. It's a place called Grace Lodge where we recorded, and they were all saying like, "Oh, winter is coming before he was arriving."
You couldn't resist. And listen, I love music. I'm a DJ also, and the music for me is so very important, especially in films like this. And it just felt like everything flowed so perfectly. I'm sure you had a great composer. You had a lot of different musicians and orchestra. Tom, how important was that process, getting the music right for this film?
We knew it was important, and we knew it was going to have to be of a piece with the previous movies we'd done. So we worked again with Bruno Coulet, who was the composer on our previous movies, Secret of Kells and Song of the Sea, and also with the folk band Keela, who are an Irish band, and they're amazing because they can mix like very modern sound with, you know, very old traditional music. And then like the biggest thing for us was that song in the middle. That was a tricky part that we knew had to be kind of a tentpole. And I had heard Aurora Aknes, she's a Norwegian singer, her version of her song Running with the Wolves. And when we asked her to do a new version of it with the orchestra, with Keela, and we were a bit nervous, would she agree? And when she agreed, we were delighted because we really feel that song kind of holds the movie up musically in the center.
It does completely. And I hope you don't mind me saying this. I know it's going on Apple TV, which is awesome because people can stream it from home. But when I was watching it, I did find myself thinking, God, I wish I'd seen this in the cinema. I need to see this in the cinema. Do you guys feel like that too?
We made it for cinemas, Max, and thankfully it will be in cinemas across Ireland and the UK. But with the virus, it's very limited. So if they go to the Wolfwalkers website, the audiences can see if it's on in their area. And I hope that as many people as possible, get to see it in the cinema. And if not, on the biggest screen they have, because we made it for a big screen, not for an iPhone.
And Ross, both of you, Tom just mentioned that this isn't the first. This is like a few films around this. And I think the thing that's really beautiful about festivals is a new audience gets introduced to filmmakers, even filmmakers that have been doing it for ages. And I honestly feel like you guys are about to have a huge moment. It just takes that one moment and then everything you've done, everyone starts consuming it and it gets a little bit nuts. Are you prepared for new fans? And is it nice also to look at it in that way?
Yeah, I mean, like the Secret of Kells and Song of the Sea, they had a big enough release, but never like a massive box office that would have like generated massive amounts of income for Cartoon Saloon or anything. And as you say, there's a new generation of fans every couple of years, you know. So it feels like because it takes us a while to make an animated film, that every time it's released, there's a whole new generation of kids like willing to get into the story, and adults too. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
You're a wolf now. Be a wolf. The woods are getting smaller every day.
You're as a part of the lineup at the BFI London Film Festival, which is so very diverse this year. And I think one of the things that was lovely about your film, Wolfwalkers, was everything, rightly so, is like very politically aware this year. A lot of the films are very hard hitting, and I still think you've got underlying messages within your film in a very smart way that if people watch it, they'll pick up on. But I think it's also a breath of fresh air, and we needed it in that lineup. Tom, how does it feel to be amongst those other filmmakers at the BFI London Film Festival?
It's such an honor, yeah, definitely. And it's lovely to be amongst it. And I mean, of course, we're sharing the animation sort of area with Soul by Pete Docter, who's an amazing director, someone I'm really a fan of as well. And he makes really deep movies as well that are about lots of deeper themes than just like sort of entertaining little tiny kids. So I'm really excited to be in that sort of oeuvre and be considered at that level. So it's amazing, yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for talking to me. Super excited for you. The film will be on Apple TV to stream. The trailer's going to be on flippywig.net also, guys. And like you mentioned, Ross, you can check out, and I think Tom said it too, for screenings all across the country, the best place is your website. Is that correct?
Yeah, go to the Wolfwalkers website, yeah.
Okay, don't forget us. Don't just do Ireland and then forget about us lot, yeah?
Oh, no, there's good...
The UK's got a good release.
You have to leave. No way. I'll scare them off.